A very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV, the perfect show to kickstart your day, bringing you the top national, international, sports and business news. Let us begin with the headlines. Russian ambassador to Turkey assassinated by Ankara riot police members. Turkey and Russia call it an act of provocation. World leaders condemn act. At least 12 people killed and 48 injured after a truck crashes into market in central Berlin. Incident is suspected to be a terrorist attack. Driver arrested, probe underway. Finance Minister clarifies on RBI's latest restrictions on depositing old notes, says deposit them in one go till 30th of December to avoid being questioned. Cyrus Mistry resigns from board of 6 key operating companies of Tata Group, vows to shift his fight to a larger platform. Tatas call it a deliberate strategy. And situation in Manipur tense after violence spreads to Senapati district. Night curfew reimposed in Imphal West. Indefinite curfew continues in Imphal East. The top story this morning, new restrictions for depositing of old 500 and 1,000 rupee notes have been imposed by the RBI. But the central bank has announced restrictions on depositing more than 5,000 rupees in the defunct 500 and 1,000 rupee currency. Now, such deposits will be accepted only after scrutiny from 2 bank officials. Well, these curbs, however, are not applicable to the deposits for taxation under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana 2016.
If you still possess the scrapped 500 and 1,000 rupee notes totaling over 5,000 rupees, then you need to hurry up. The RBI on Monday issued a fresh set of limits for such deposits. Old bank notes in excess of 5,000 rupees can be deposited into a bank account only once till December 30th. Deposits over 5,000 rupees can be made only after questioning by 2 bank officials. An audit trail will also be created for a later stage. A satisfactory explanation on the deposit made would be needed. Even when deposits lesser than 5,000 rupees are made in an account, but the cumulative deposits since November 8 exceed 5,000 rupees, it will invite scrutiny. The accounts must also be compliant with KVIC, otherwise deposits can be restricted to 50,000 rupees.
This may put many people to hardship. Those who have thought that they could deposit it at the fag end, because there may be many people who have the cash in hand. They say, all right, yearly we will deposit it. And they are using, I will say, cashless currency. They are not using their money. And they say, yes, some cash is lying, we'll deposit it.
The government maintains that RBI's decision is aimed at discouraging a surge in deposits of unaccounted money in regular bank accounts. The opposition, however, has it out at the government for allegedly causing hardships to the people and constantly changing rules.
कुछ आदमी हैं जो पैसे जमा करा रहे हैं अपनी लीगल मनी, लेकिन एक साथ नहीं जमा करा रहे हैं। तो हम ये कह रहे हैं कि भाई आपके पास है तो आप एक साथ जमा करा दो ना, आप क्यों लंबी क्यों कर रहे हो?
40 days, 125 notification, that would read 3 notifications a day. Is this government aware of what they're doing? Is this government aware of what they're doing to the people of India? Are they trying to tell us that the money that is in their pockets today is all black money?
At the time of demonetizing high-value bills, the government had said people should not panic and private banks, as enough time to deposit or exchange money was assured. RBI on December 13 announced that a total of 12.44 lakh crore rupees in scrap notes had been deposited. This is close to 80% of the currency that turned defunct after the demonetization announcement. Cyrus Mistry, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, Finance Minister Arunjaitley has clarified that no questions will be asked if any amount of defunct old currency is deposited in one go in bank accounts. He, however, reiterated that repeated deposits may raise queries. Now, Jaitley's comments came soon after the government changed rules to mandate that individuals can deposit over 5,000 rupees in old currency bills only once till 30th of December, and that too after explaining why it had not been done so far. Now, explaining the rationale behind the move, Jaitley said that all exemptions to certain sectors and utilities which had been allowed to accept the banned currency post demonetization ended last week, and all those in possession of the old notes are supposed to deposit them with banks.
Deposit with the bank any amount of currency, no questions are going to be asked to them. And therefore, the 5,000 rupee limit does not apply to them if they go and deposit it once. But if they are going to go every day and deposit some currency, the same person, that gives rise to a suspicion as to where he is acquiring this currency from. In that event, a person may have something to answer. Therefore, everyone is advised that whatever old currency you have, please go and deposit it now, because there is no scope now for earning any old currency because all exemptions have been waived off.
Well, Provident Fund subscribers will get a lower interest rate on their deposits this year as compared to last year. Well, the Employees Provident Fund Organisation, or the EPFO, fixed 8.65% rate of interest on PF deposits for the current fiscal year. Well, this is a current from the previous rate of 8.8% interest last year. Well, the decision was taken on Monday by Central Board of Trustees, the apex decision-making body of EPFO, at a meeting in Bangalore, despite objections raised by the trade unions. Well, the move will impact over 4 crore employees who contribute part of their salaries towards the Provident Fund kitty. Now, the lower interest rate on Provident Fund deposits comes in the wake of a general decline in the interest rates across different financial saving instruments, including bank fixed deposits as well as small saving schemes. On to some other news now. Well, the Enforcement Directorate has sought details from cooperative bank branches across the country on the activities in their dormant accounts and other suspicious transactions as part of its anti-black money probe. Well, the agency has written to about 100 branches of the cooperative banks in various states in the first stage of its probe. Well, the agency is probing these cases for a possible contravention of the Foreign Exchange Management Act, or the FEMA, and the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Well, according to officials, the agency has sought details after it got some reports about suspicious activities of some huge transactions being reported from the bank accounts in these particular branches. Let's move on to some other news. Well, vowing to shift his fight against Tata Sons to a larger platform, now Cyrus Mistry resigned from the board of 6 key operating companies of the group. Well, Mistry's surprise resignation came ahead of a series of special shareholder meetings called by the Tata Sons to oust him from the boards of 5 Tata companies. Mistry, who had continued to be on the company's board despite his removal as the chairman in the month of October, hinted to continue his battle against Tata Sons in court. Now, in a letter to shareholders, he once again raked up a breakdown of governance and also questionable dealings in the company. Now, reacting to resignation, Tata Sons said that Cyrus Mistry is making baseless allegations using selective disclosure of information. They say it is a part of a deliberate strategy.
I think it is time to shift gears, up the momentum, and be more incisive in securing the best interests of the Tata Group. In order to be more effective, serve the objective of governance reform, and to regain lost ethical ground, I have decided to shift from the forum of EGMs to a larger platform, and also one where the rule of law and equity is upheld.
On to news from Uttar Pradesh. Well, the political battle on the issue of demonetization has shifted to the poll-bound state. Now, both Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi yesterday took pot shots at each other in public rallies in the state on Monday. Take a look.
2 days after the winter session of Parliament was washed out due to a stalemate over the issue of demonetization, Prime Minister Narendra Modi took a dig at the opposition parties in a public rally in Kanpur.
संसद चलने नहीं दी। ये संसद क्यों चलने नहीं दी भाई? पार्लियामेंट में चर्चा क्यों नहीं की? राष्ट्रपति के कहने के बाद भी हो हल्ला करते रहे, नारे बुलाते रहे। ये इसलिए करते थे कि जिन मुद्दों पर सरकार चर्चा चाहती थी, इससे वो भाग रहे थे।
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi, however, launched a counter-attack on the Prime Minister. Gandhi, who is on a nationwide tour against the Modi government's demonetization decision, termed it as anti-poor.
मैंने हिंदुस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री को कहा, आप हिंदुस्तान के किसान का कर्जा माफ करो। सवाल का जवाब नहीं दिया। उन्होंने एक शब्द नहीं कहा। यह है हिंदुस्तान की सच्चाई। मजदूरों के बारे में नरेंद्र मोदी कहते हैं, पार्लियामेंट में कहा कि ये लोग पूरा दिन गड्ढा खोदते हैं।
Opposition parties, including the Congress, have raised several questions on the decision. The government, on its part, have been defending the decision to demonetize 500 and 1,000 rupee denomination notes. Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV, Delhi.
Let's take a look at the other news stories from across the nation in Nationwide. President Pranab Mukherjee has given his assent to appoint Justice Jagdish Singh Khehar as the next Chief Justice of India. He will be the 44th Chief Justice of India. 64-year-old Justice Khehar will succeed CJI S. Thakur, who will be demitting office on 3rd of January next year. The opposition Congress managed to salvage some pride in the third round of local body polls in Maharashtra. Well, Congress won 113 seats and bagged 8 posts of a municipal council president, while the ruling BJP won 114 council seats and 7 seats of council president. At the end of 3 phases, the BJP continued to remain the single largest party with 1,061 seats, while Congress finished with 885 seats, followed by NCP at 785 and Shiv Sena at 590. The Aam Aadmi Party on Monday declared a former Goa police officer Elvis Gomes as the next chief ministerial candidate for the state. Goa will go to polls next year. Now, Gomes has held almost all important official posts in Goa. Goa is the second state after Delhi where the party has declared its chief ministerial choice before elections for the votes of the state. The Income Tax Department will soon begin sharing with the Petroleum and Oil Ministry details of all individual taxpayers whose annual income exceed 10 lakh rupees in an attempt to check pilferage of subsidies on cooking gas by the higher income groups. Well, the department will also share the personal details of taxpayers like PAN number, date of birth, gender, all available addresses in the IT bases, email IDs and residential phone numbers of such taxpayers. The Punjab Assembly on Monday passed 9 bills, including a bill to regularize the services of 30,000 contract, ad hoc and daily wage employees from various government departments. Well, the passage of the bill will put an additional financial burden of 2,438 crore rupees on the state exchequer. With the Code of Conduct expected to be imposed soon after the Election Commission announced the schedule for the state elections, the special session of the Assembly was convened to push the 9 legislations. Well, on to some other news. Kyrgyzstan President Almazbek Atambayev arrived in the national capital on a 4-day state visit to India. Well, defense, security, trade and connectivity will be high on the agenda of talks between the Prime Minister and the visiting President. During the visit, Atambayev is also expected to attend a joint business forum. Well, he is leading a high-level delegation comprising of ministers, senior officials and business leaders. This will be his first visit to India as President.
Kyrgyzstan President Almazbek Atambayev is on a 4-day official visit to India. He is expected to hold bilateral discussions with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The two countries are expected to sign various agreements to deepen ties in areas of defense, security, trade and connectivity. The President will have official engagements on December 20th.
Kyrgyzstan is in the extended neighborhood, a fact which can be understood by the fact that the distance is not more than 1,600 kilometers. So it may be perhaps closer than many of the cities within the country. The location itself is strategic. We know where it is located, with which countries it borders. So that also makes sure us have very solid relationship with them.
India and Kyrgyzstan share excellent relations marked by strong ties in all areas, including political and defense, education and human resource development, culture and tourism. In July last year, Modi visited Kyrgyzstan, during which the two countries signed 4 agreements to boost defense cooperation. Kyrgyzstan is on the western border of China and is strategically very important for India. A sizable number of Indian students study in that country. Telemedicine and medical tourism are 2 areas that have seen significant growth in the past few years. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
On news from the northeast, well, the situation in Manipur remains tense, with violence spreading to Senapati district, where miscreants torched 2 vehicles on Monday. Well, night curfew has been reimposed in Imphal West district. Indefinite curfew continues to remain in force in Imphal East district, where mobile data services were suspended since Sunday to prevent a spread of rumours. Now, this will be enforced till 25th of December. The police are on high alert to contain any further outbreak of violence. The United Naga Council has been agitating against the government decision of 9th of December to create Sadar Hills and Jiribam into full-fledged districts, claiming it would bifurcate ancestral land of Nagas in the state. Now, the Chief Minister, Okram Mibobi, has appealed for peace and harmony among different ethnic groups of the state. In breakfast news, time for a very short break. Up next, we have all the international and sports news. Stay with us.
Maternity benefit law. People have said that it caters only to the women in the formal sector.
We are talking about women in formal employment. How do you cater to somebody who's not employed?
Can the political class really prohibit themselves from treating women as a vote bank?
And nobody can treat anybody as a vote bank unless you want to be treated as a vote bank.
Do you also feel suffocated at times in politics? Probably that you're not able to do what you think?
Because I do exactly what I want to do.
And you're allowed to do that?
No, nobody has to allow me.
Watch to the point with Women and Child Development Minister Maneka Gandhi, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Raju Ki Baoli, located in Mehroli, is considered the most ornamental of Baolis in the national capital. It was built by Daulat Khan during the reign of Sikandar Lodhi in 1516. Raju refers to masons who used it. The entire structure is subterranean, so only the topmost story is visible as the visitor approaches. Walk towards its steps and each lower level slowly reveals itself. The top floor has a row of arched niches. There are 3 levels going down with 66 steps. The Baoli complex has a 12-pillar tomb and a mosque with plaster decoration on it. Carved brackets support the chhajja below the parapet. There are rooms behind this arcade, meant for shade and shelter for visitors. The Baoli combines Islamic architecture with hints of Hindu engravings and geometric designs.
Welcome back. Now, our top international focus. The Russian ambassador to Turkey has been assassinated. Well, Andrei Karlov was shot dead by a member of Ankara riot police while he was attending a function at an art rally in Ankara. Now, both Russia and Turkey called it an act of provocation.
Russia's ambassador to Turkey, Andrei Karlov, moments before he was shot dead by a Turkish policeman. The incident taking place when the ambassador was attending a photo exhibition in Ankara. He was making a speech when the gunshots ring out. 8 bullets were fired. Both Turkey and Russia termed the assassination as a provocation.
Bu saldırıyı ülkemizdeki Rusya Federasyonu Büyükelçisi nezdinde özellikle Türkiye'ye, Türk devletine ve Türk milletine karşı yapılmış bir saldırı olarak değerlendiriyorum.
Совершенное преступление – это, безусловно, провокация, направленная на срыв нормализации российско-турецких отношений. и на срыв мирного процесса в Сирии.
The assassination took place a day after protests in Turkey over Russian support for Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. The gunman has been identified as a 22-year-old member of the Ankara riot police. There is no clarity on whether he had any links to any group. Russia has ordered to form a working group that will fly to Ankara to take part in the investigations along with Turkey.
Убийцы будут наказаны. Сегодня же этот вопрос будет поставлен перед членами Совета Безопасности Организации Объединенных Наций. Терроризм не пройдет. Мы будем решительно с ним бороться.
World leaders condemned the killing, the US stating that any suggestion of its involvement in the killing flies in the face of facts.
I'd like to offer my deepest condolences to a Russian delegation following the assassination of their colleague Ambassador Andrei Karlov in Ankara earlier today. I condemn this senseless act of terror for which there can be no justification.
In any suggestion that the United States in any way, shape or form would be responsible for this act of murder and assassination or any other related activity to the coup, and I'm not saying this one was, I'm just saying that you know, obviously flies in the face of fact.
Klar ist aber natürlich, dass die Türkei ein Land ist, das vom Terrorismus hart getroffen ist. Und unabhängig der Differenzen, die wir mit der Türkei in anderen Fragen haben, gilt unsere Solidarität.
Nous devons rester mobilisés pour lutter contre toutes les formes de violence et de terrorisme. Et puis, j'exprime aussi ma solidarité avec la Russie, mais aussi avec la Turquie, qui est elle-même victime du terrorisme et qui, je crois, a connu à cette occasion des victimes.
The shooting also came on the eve of a key meeting between Russian, Turkish and Iranian foreign ministers on the Syria conflict. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And a big story coming in from Germany, where at least 12 people were killed and 48 others injured after a truck crashed into a Christmas market in Berlin in a suspected terrorist attack. Now, the suspect has been arrested by the police and investigations are underway.
People running and screaming. Ambulances and heavily armed officers rushed to a busy Christmas market in central Berlin, where a lorry crashed into the popular tourist spot, killing people and injuring many. Police call it a possible terror attack.
Sehr große Angst. Ja.
Warum?
Weil, naja, man weiß nicht mehr, ob man sich sicher fühlen soll in Berlin und ob es einen Grund gibt, sich noch sicher zu fühlen und ob man hier den Menschen, den Sicherheitsleuten überhaupt noch vertrauen kann. Also kann ich zumindest das nicht mehr.
Ich fühle mich schockiert, dass 9 Menschen sterben mussten. Aber heutzutage ist es leider, sage ich mal, fast Alltag geworden, weil du liest jeden Tag irgendeine Scheiße in den Nachrichten.
The suspected driver has been arrested and his accomplice died at the scene. While the truck had Polish license plates, the nationality or age of the suspect still remains unclear.
Der Fahrer ist geflüchtet nach Zeugenaussagen. Die Polizei hat die Verfolgung aufgenommen und konnte einen Verdächtigen hier in der Nähe festnehmen. Er befindet sich zurzeit auf einem Polizeiabschnitt und wird zum Sachverhalt vernommen. Der Beifahrer des LKWs.
The Polish owner of the company which owned the truck said he is confident that the person behind the wheels is not his driver. He believes the truck must have been hijacked. The German Interior Ministry, however, rejects that claim.
Zum jetzigen Zeitpunkt muss man sagen, dass die Rettungskräfte, die Feuerwehr und Polizei in hervorragender Art und Weise arbeiten. Innerhalb kürzester Zeit ist der Tatort.
Chancellor Angela Merkel mourned the incident that was reminiscent of July's deadly attack in the French city of Nice, where 89 people were killed when a truck was driven into a crowd. That attack was claimed by the Islamic State. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On news from the United States, well, despite last-ditch efforts to deny him presidency, Donald Trump will officially become the U.S. president next month. Well, Trump has secured victory in the U.S. Electoral College voting on Monday to officially win election as the next U.S. president. Well, the voting process, which is usually a formality, was clouded this year by claims that Russian hackers sabotaged the presidential election. The thousands of anti-Trump protesters also gathered at state capitals across the country against Trump's election at the Electoral College. Now, Trump received 304 electoral votes to Hillary Clinton's 224, and 6 faithless electorals also voted for other candidates. Donald Trump will formally take office on 20th of January next year. Well, a French court found International Monetary Fund chief Christine Lagarde guilty of negligence over a massive state payout to a businessman during her tenure as a French finance minister in 2008. Well, the court, however, did not impose any fine or sentence to Lagarde, who was accused of allowing misuse of public funds after she approved an award of over 400 million euros to a businessman for a disputed sale of a firm.
I have been held negligent, but without penalty, without sanction, without registration of the decision. I am not satisfied with it, but there's a point in time when one has to just stop, turn the page, and move on, and continue to work with those who have put their trust in me. So I'm very happy to not appeal this decision.
And finally, some sports news. Well, England will resume their second innings play at overnight score of 12 for no loss on final day of the 5th and final test in Chennai today. Well, Alistair Cook and Keaton Jennings were at the crease earlier. Also, Karun Nayar's triple century helped India post a monumental 759 for 7 declared in their first innings on the 4th day. Well, Nayar became only the 3rd player in Test history and the first Indian to turn his maiden ton into a triple century. Now, all eyes will be on India's spin trio, local boy R. Ashwin, leg spinner Amit Mishra, and also all-rounder Ravindra Jadeja. India with a 282 runs lead in the strong position from where the hosts would either win or draw the game.
Once after I crossed 250, I think the team management had certain plans of, going after the bowling and then, declaring. So I think within the space of 5 overs, I think I got to 280, 285. That's when, I started thinking, and Jaddu kept egging me on to, not throw it away and just get to the 300 easily.
That's all in this news bulletin. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead.